What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Hardcore and the Casual Podcast. I'm your host, Justin, and on today's episode, I'm joined by Elijah once again. How's it going, Elijah?
It's going good. It's going good.
How's life been going into UFC 307?
Life has been going great, especially with these last couple UFC events.
Yeah, and this one's going to be real good, too. I mean, this entire card is great, but we are going to start off with the review of UFC Paris from last week. Then we're going to move into predictions later in the show. For right now, let's just start with, I wanted to talk about the fact that Roosevelt Roberts had done to him exactly what I thought was going to be done to him.
Yeah.
Ludwig Klein won pretty easily. Well, actually, there was a bit of a fight, but Roosevelt Roberts didn't belong anywhere near this match. Sorry, I don't know why I just dislike Roosevelt. I don't dislike Roosevelt Roberts. He's just not, like, he didn't deserve that spot. But now... whatever for the rest of the stuff. I mean, Eileen Perez twerked on a chick.
Oh, yes.
Like that.
Yes, I saw that.
Other than that, the prelims were just another ordinary UFC prelim card.
Great.
Moving up to the main card, though, Ziam knocked out Matt Frivola with a knee, and it was the most brutal knee that I've seen in a long time. I'm sure everyone has seen it by now. But, like, they were standing, they were clinching, and then all of a sudden, Matt Frivola turned around, Ziam just threw the knee up. Matt Frivola went so limp. Like, I've never seen someone go that limp. He crashed down, and then still caught a 1-2 on the ground.
Worse than the Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera knee.
Oh, yeah. That was the worst. No, I mean, Matt Frivola went unconscious. That was the worst knee I've ever seen. That looked worse than the Jorge Masvidal knee on Ben Askren.
Wow.
Like, that's how bad that knee looked. It was brutal. The 2 punches on the ground were completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But, I mean, speaking of Jorge Masvidal, super necessary, I guess. Ziam beat Matt Frivola. Matt Frivola constantly sits right outside of the top 15.
Yeah.
So I do think that Ziam should probably get a top 15 guy next. There are a lot of guys in the top 15 that are now coming off of losses, like Benoit Saint-Denis. They're both from France. I don't think they're going to do that one.
Yeah.
But, like, there are guys in the division that should be fighting outside the division to hold their spot. Rafael Dos Anjos.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a fight coming up. I don't remember who it's against, but, like, he's still in the lightweight division, like, in the top 15. There's no reason. I'll get back to that when we talk about the Moicano fight, because there's a lot to go over with that. But moving up, Morgan, another Frenchman, got the knockout in 27 seconds.
Wow.
Not really much to talk about there. I mean, he knocked the guy out in 27 seconds. So good for him. Paris was having a good night up until this point. And then Brian Battle shut all that down. Brian Battle got the TKO win in the second round. Brian Battle looks really good, honestly. He's 12-2. His 2 losses, I think only 1 loss in the UFC. I think it came to Fakardimov, who's also pretty good. Yeah. But Brian Battle, he looks like he's getting better. So yeah, he after the fight, he TKO'd a Frenchman and then told France to go fuck themselves. He literally just middle fingers to the sky and started screaming, fuck all of you. He definitely wanted to rile up the crowd.
Yeah.
He definitely did.
Yeah.
And he did exactly what he wanted to do. So, I mean, impressive performance by Brian Battle. He used the mind games. He used his striking techniques. It was a great performance by him. He even threw in some wrestling.
Okay.
So, yeah, good performance by Brian Battle. He's moving up in the welterweight division.
I like that guy. We're going to mark him down.
Yeah.
We're going to mark him down.
Next up, one of the fights that we actually predicted on, William Gomez versus Joe Anderson Brito. William Gomez won, but he definitely got... Joe Anderson Brito definitely got robbed.
What?
Joe Anderson Brito won the fight.
No.
He did.
You can't believe that.
I do believe that because I watched the whole fight, and Joe Anderson Brito definitely won the fight. William Gomez looked good in the fight, but I tweeted it. If you guys want to follow the Hardcore and the Casual Twitter, well, X now, I guess, whatever.
You guys should definitely go do that.
Yeah, go follow us on Twitter at the Hardcore and the Casual. I think it's just at that casual with a bunch of periods in the middle. No, I don't even know. Go look it up. You'll find it. But I said this is like the most corrupt commission in the world. I mean, they've been around for 2 years, and the level of corruption, even in the stuff that Moicano was saying throughout the weeks with he was saying that like he was getting blood tested, but the French guys weren't. Like everyone that wasn't from France had like extra circumstances that they had to go through. They also like taxed their paycheck by a lot. Damn. And the corruption on the judges' scorecards was crazy because it was Brito's fight. If you guys think Gomez won, you should probably look back on how the rules are set up. But whatever. I lost anyways. I lost the other two anyways, so it didn't really matter that much. I'm big on fairness in the UFC, and like the DDP Sean Strickland thing. I like Sean Strickland. He's one of my guys. He didn't win that fight.
DDP did not win that fight.
Whatever you say, but I'm less biased about it because we both like Strickland, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying that Strickland lost, so I'm clearly less biased than you are.
I understand what you're saying, but in that moment, like in the moment watching the fight, you could be like, nah, Strickland retained that belt. Or at least give it a ultimate draw. A draw.
If you say so. But in my opinion, DDP won the fight. And in this fight, Joe Anderson Brito won the fight. And I'm big on fairness, and I think that fairness should be in the UFC's judging. I mean, this was one of the unfair ones. Okay. But it's whatever. Moving up, Nassourdine Imavov versus Brendan Allen. These guys went out there and did not perform. These guys both looked pretty bad. Oh my God. Brendan Allen got a body lock takedown within the first 5 seconds of the fight, rode out the round. Just won the entire first round.
Yeah.
Dominated. Well, he didn't dominate in that way like Moicano was dominating the first round. Brendan Allen just had so much control time. He had 4.5 minutes of control time. Oh my gosh. Won the first round pretty easily, and then never tried a body lock takedown the rest of the fight. Only shot double legs, and Nassourdine Imavov stuffed every single one of them. He sprawled on his face. Dude, Brendan Allen had to sniff Nassourdine Imavov's crotch so many times and didn't land a single takedown after that first round. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. Why would you keep on shooting for double legs when the body lock worked originally and obviously the double legs are not working? And then your striking was doing great. Brendan Allen was doing great on the feet. Honestly, Nassourdine Imavov is meant to be the kickboxer, but Brendan Allen was landing knees up the middle. He was landing uppercuts. He was landing a lot of stuff, very good on the feet. And then he'd shoot for another takedown, get sprawled on, and then get beat up on the ground for a couple of minutes. And repeat. Yeah. Like, you should have either been more confident in your stand-up because you were doing good, or you should have been grabbing that. He gave up on a body lock in the second round to go for the double leg. Yeah. Like, he had him in a body lock, and then he dropped down and changed levels. Why would you do that? He obviously can't defend the body lock, so go for another body lock. I mean, you're in there. You're in the cage, so you know what's going on in there. I'm sure he felt like some sort of switch where Imavov was being more careful about clinch situations. Yeah. I'm sure all that went on. But there were more opportunities for him to get the body lock than to shoot the double leg. It wasn't working, so he should have went for something else. What does this set up now? Nassourdine Imavov should either fight. I want to say Izzy, but I don't want to say Izzy. I think he should fight Caio Borralho. Or I don't know, man. Imavov didn't look good enough in this fight to award him like a number one contendership fight, in my opinion. But will he still get someone like an Izzy? Probably. And if he even beats a Caio Borralho, he will probably still move on to fight for the title next. But there's this big thing hanging over the division right now in Chimaev versus Whitaker.
Yeah.
And do you agree with me that the winner of that should probably get the title fight before anything with Imavov versus Allen? Like, Imavov shouldn't be near the title when we're talking about Chimaev versus Whitaker, right?
We're talking about 185.
Yeah, 185.
Listen, right now for 185... it needs to be Strickland rematch. After that, it's got to be Chimaev because Strickland, they've already said...
if he beats Whitaker.
If he beats Whitaker, he's already said, whatever, scrap everything you guys know about the gym. I'll fight this guy. DDP wins, you know he's gonna fight Chimaev. Chimaev needs to be next. Chimaev has to be next.
And that will set up Imavov for either a fight against Izzy or Bahalio.
Because we don't need Whitaker and Izzy too.
Yeah, no.
But Izzy can fight definitely Kyle Bahalio.
You know what I would be interested in? If Sean Strickland beat DDP and then Whitaker beat Chimaev, and Whitaker versus Sean Strickland would be a fun fight. And a new fight that we haven't seen before. But
yeah,
honestly, the odds of Whitaker beating Chimaev and Strickland beating DDP are pretty high. And the fact that DDP would probably get an automatic rematch if Strickland beat him. Because then they'd be 1-1. So then they'd probably go for the trilogy.
Yeah.
So Chimaev versus Whitaker would probably have to wait in that scenario. But I'm thinking either one of them would wait for the title shot. They probably wouldn't be like, oh, I'll fight someone else. They'd probably just wait for the title. If, say Strickland beats DDP in January.
Yeah.
But Chimaev already beat Whitaker a month from now. Less than a month from now. Chimaev would just wait. He'd just wait it out. He'd wait a year if it means getting a title fight without fighting anyone else. Chimaev would be completely willing to wait for a year. I think. Do you disagree? You think Chimaev would take another fight if he beats Whitaker?
It depends how it depends how the fight goes. It depends okay, if someone gets finished in the DDP and Strickland fight, because if Sean Strickland decisively beats him with no damage, then they could just book another fight.
Yeah.
Right then and there. But if someone gets knocked out, I think that plays more of a bigger role, because it's okay, this guy needs time to recover, blah, 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 blah. That may make that shift. But it depends if the fight goes to decision or not. So.
Yeah, I agree. There are circumstances where you could not set up the trilogy, but more than likely, if Strickland wins, they're probably going to do a trilogy.
Yeah.
But for Brendan Allen fight Marvin Vettori, you already have the beef. They got into a fight at the airport or something. They threw some punches. They went to the ground. There's already beef behind it. They're both very close in the division within rankings. Brendan Allen versus Marvin Vettori. That just makes sense to me.
Yeah. What is the UFC going to do with Izzy? What are they going to do?
It's either put him against Imavov or move up to light heavyweight. What else is there?
He's still at
Bahalio.
He's still at a championship level though. So if these guys aren't on their A game, that's easy feed, and he's right back up into another title shot.
And I agree with that. I think Izzy would be able to get back into a title fight very easily. With one win, Dana would put him right back in there.
Yeah, especially if it's one of them knockouts and he gets everyone going. Yeah.
If it's one of those real spectacular KOs against Pereira or against Whitaker, then he's going to get another immediate title shot against whoever wins. But at that point, Chimaev is probably going to be our champion. So then you get Izzy versus Chimaev, and it's just okay.
I think that would be a great fight.
No.
That would be a great fight.
We just saw what DDP did to Izzy on the ground. Imagine Chimaev doing that to Izzy. He would have done it in the first round. He wouldn't have waited until the fourth.
I don't know, because those first two rounds, we've seen with Gilbert Burns is that when you fight back, there's a way to fight back against Chimaev, especially him being smaller. Izzy's a lot taller. So I don't know. I just feel like you just can't underestimate Izzy the same way he came with Alex Pereira. We all thought he was going to get knocked out again.
Yeah.
But you just can't underestimate him, because he's still a good striker.
Yeah. He is still a really good no one's doubting that. He's still one of the best strikers in the world. It's just, can he compete with the new grapplers in his division? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think, speaking of new grapplers and divisions, we need to talk about Moicano real quick.
Yeah.
So I've talked a lot about how I don't like grapplers.
Yeah.
Most of them I find boring. Bilal Muhammad, Merab. There's plenty of grapplers in these divisions that are just boring. They don't do damage. They just sit there and they run out the clock. Brendan Allen did that in the fight before. That's what he did the first round. He sat on top of Imavov and he ran out the clock. Moicano took him down within the first 5 seconds of the first round and did more damage in the first round. In 5 minutes, he did more damage to Benoit Saint-Denis than Merab did in 25 minutes and Bilal did in 25 minutes in their last fights to win the titles. He did more damage in 5 minutes than either of those guys did in 25 minutes. Either combine them. the amount of damage that Bilal did to Leon plus the amount of damage that Merab did to O'Malley equals an eighth of the amount of damage that Moicano did to Benoit Saint-Denis in the first round. He literally just laid on top of him and just elbow, punch. He never stopped.
Yeah.
He just kept going. Just re-grab him, push him back down, bang, elbow. Cut his eye open, made both of them swell. Benoit couldn't see going into the second round. He just went out there. He's got dog in him, dude. He went back in there, and he went an extra 5 minutes and won the next round.
Yeah.
He won the next round only because Moicano broke his collar. He broke his shoulder. This bone right here was completely sticking up, so he really couldn't use his right arm much.
Yeah.
So if they let that fight continue, instead of stopping it after the second round, Benoit might have come back and been able to do something because of Moicano's injury.
Yeah.
He could have. But he couldn't see. He literally just couldn't see. There was his eye was closed. It looked like this. It was closed. He couldn't see out of the eye. Michael Bisping was on commentary, so I was kind of in the moment, I was just dude, you are disrespecting Michael Bisping right now. You're saying that this guy can't compete with one eye? Come on, look at Michael. He's right there. He's on commentary. He's right there. Come on. Benoit Saint-Denis can fight with one eye. He just won the second round with one eye. So why wouldn't he be able to do it in the third, fourth, and fifth? But they didn't know that Moicano was injured. They didn't know if Benoit was going to be able to keep his eye on his face. They didn't know if it was just going to fall off.
Yeah.
Because it might have. It might have. If he took one more strike, it might have just fell off.
Yeah.
But they stopped the fight, and I thought it was an okay stoppage. It was a pretty good stoppage.
Doctor stoppage.
It was doctor stoppage, but he couldn't see. His eye was closed. He couldn't see.
Technical win. Damage.
But like I was saying, Moicano is a entertaining grappler. He took him to the ground and beat him up for 5 minutes, and it was sick to watch. It was awesome. And no one else can do that. Why can't grapplers just do that? I guess there's more technical stuff going on the ground. I know that. If you open up too much, someone will just get up. But there are ways to do it, and Moicano just showed that. And no one else is willing to try because they know that if it doesn't work, they can't hold their own on the feet. Yeah. Moicano is a good striker. He always has been. He's been beat up by a few guys. Jose Aldo beat him up on the feet. There have been guys that have got Fiziev beat him up on the feet.
Yeah.
But there are guys that he has also smoked that are high level. I mean, he beat up Calvin Kattar. He on the feet. No takedowns. Didn't take him down once. He beat up Calvin Kattar. The dude that can take 400 punches from Max Holloway and keep swinging into the fifth round.
Yeah.
Moicano beat him up. And, obviously he's got good striking.
Yeah.
So he's not afraid of someone trying to get back up off the ground when he's just throwing punches.
Yeah.
And it works. He's entertaining. That's why he's money. Money Moicano. That's why, is because he's entertaining. He could take a punch. We saw that with Jalen Turner.
Yeah.
He got knocked out. He just got right back up. Come on. Moicano is money. Moicano is an entertaining fighter. Now to turn more into the other side, which is the rankings. He didn't move. He didn't move a spot. He's still 11. Benoit's still 12. You know who's above him?
Who?
Michael Chandler, Fiziev, Gamrot. These guys that are on 1, 2, 3. Fiziev, leave above him. Fiziev knocked him out 2 years ago. Yeah. Fiziev makes sense, even though he's on a loss. Gamrot should probably move beneath him. Beneil Dariush is on a 2-fight losing streak. He should probably be beneath Moicano. Michael Chandler hasn't fought in 2 years. He should probably be below Moicano.
Michael Chandler is a championship contending guy.
Yeah. And now Moicano sits at 11th. He didn't move at all. I mean, at this point, he called out Patty the Batty. I think that would be a fun fight, but Moicano deserves Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
Like that would be a sick fight, right? Dan Hooker versus Moicano? No?
I'm not seeing the vision for it.
How? You can't tell me that that's not a sick fight. Moicano versus Dan Hooker. That would be awesome. We just saw that Dan Hooker can defend takedowns from Gamrot, so we could defend a takedown from Moicano. That'd be an awesome fight on the feet.
No.
No?
Put him against Fiziev.
No.
Yeah, put him against Fiziev.
Moicano versus Fiziev? Or
yeah.
You want to see Moicano versus Fiziev too?
Yeah.
Moicano, no.
That's the fight to make, bro.
No, it's not.
Get his name back out
Fiziev has already whooped his ass.
Nah.
It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. There's no need to run that back. It was not close. He put on like a Avengers level beatdown. Like he hit him like a fucking movie scene. Like he knocked him out like it was a movie. Like it was choreographed. That's how badly he knocked Moicano out. There's no need to do that one again. Maybe Dan Hooker versus Fiziev, because Dan Hooker does not deserve to be at number 5 right now. But
I think Dan Hooker's a warrior. You know, he might be the next one to fight Islam.
no. He already got whooped on by Islam. He got taken down and submitted.
I don't know. There's something oddly strange about me seeing Michael Chandler fight Islam. And I've always thought about that, and I've always had that thought because of how wild he is, and I feel like Islam just, I don't know, because Islam, sometimes he just scraps the whole game plan, just goes whatever.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun because it's like he's an entertaining fighter. So that would be such a great matchup.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen because Charles Oliveira is going to submit Michael Chandler.
Nah, I'm telling you.
I thought you were big on Charles Oliveira. I thought you loved Charles.
I think Charles Oliveira is cool. I like the champion has a name. I like the whole like respect thing of it, but
you think that Michael Chandler is going to knock him out?
I just want him to.
Oh, okay.
Just so he could fight Islam.
I don't think he gets the title fight even if he does.
Nah, he does. He definitely does.
Because you still got Arman.
Arman's boring.
Arman versus Islam is almost confirmed for January, Habib said.
No.
It's basically confirmed for January.
It's just like okay. It's like, okay. Yeah, Arman came in 2 weeks notice. Almost beat Islam, won a couple rounds against him. Blah blah blah. That was the past. We want to see Michael Chandler. Give Islam a so-called easy fight. And let's get something entertaining.
It's already done. It's already going to happen. You can't change it now. Arman versus Islam in January. It's going to happen. But that's for January. I think we can move over to our predictions now. UFC 307 predictions starts right now. We can just get right into this if you want.
Yes.
All right. Court McGee versus Tim Means. Court McGee is 22-13. Tim Means is 33-16. So, I know who I'm going with. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. I got Tim. He's got Court McGee. All right. We're starting off strong already. All right. Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington. All right. I've got my answer.
Ready.
Carla Esparza. All right, we're both on the Esparza train. That was obvious. Carla Esparza is probably gonna beat the shit out of her. Honestly, I not like beat the shit out of her, but like control her for 15 minutes. All right, Ryan Spann versus Ovince St. Preux. OSP. Ryan Spann 21-10. OSP is 27-17. So they basically have like the same ratio of wins and losses. All right, let's see. I got 3, 2, 1. Ryan Spann, OSP. Oh, so we're separate on 2 now. Okay, I see you. Let's go. All right. Moving up to the prelims, we got Cesar Almeida, the guy that beat Alex Pereira in kickboxing. Versus Eor Ponteria. He got knocked out by Michel Pereira in his last fight, if you remember that. Michel Pereira did the backflip onto him.
Yeah.
All right, I got my answer. 3, 2, 1. Cesar Almeida. Both in agreement on that. All right. Next up. Oh, was this just added onto here? I was just looking at this earlier today, and I didn't see Austin Hubbard versus Alexander Hernandez. I did not see this on the card literally earlier today when I looked. I guess they just added this to the card. Okay, well, Austin Hubbard versus Alexander Hernandez. Austin Hubbard is 17-7. Alexander Hernandez is 14-8. All right, 3, 2, 1. I got Austin Hubbard. You got Alexander Hernandez.
Alexander Hernandez.
They have the same initials.
Okay.
I meant Austin Hubbard, but I just noticed they had the same initials. All right, hold on. I gotta clarify it to myself now. Writing this down. All right, Austin Hubbard, Alexander Hernandez. All right, Marina Rodriguez versus Yasmin Lucindo. Yeah, sure. I'm not repeating it. Marina Rodriguez is 17-4-2, and the other girl is 16-5.
All right.
3, 2, 1. I got Rodriguez. All right, you got the other girl. All right. Next up, we got, we're getting to the fun fights now.
Okay.
We got Wonderboy Stephen Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. Joaquin Buckley is your boy, but are you going to go with him, though? That's your boy, though. 3, 2, 1.
Buckley.
I got Thompson. I got Stephen Thompson. I think Stephen Thompson is going to pick him apart from distance and make him look silly, honestly. If Kevin Holland can do it. Don't ever forget that Kevin Holland knocked out Joaquin Buckley. And Stephen Thompson made Kevin Holland look silly. You can't take it back now, though. You already put Joaquin Buckley down. You can't change it now.
No,
all right.
Change it.
Moving up to the main card now. Speaking of the devil, Kevin Holland versus Roman Dolidze. All right, I got my answer. 3, 2, 1. Roman Dolidze.
Kevin Holland.
All right. I had a feeling you were gonna go for Kevin Holland, but all right, Roman Dolidze. All right, next up, Caitlin Vieira versus Kayla Harrison. Yeah, I know who I'm going with. Caitlin Vieira versus Kayla Harrison.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Caitlin Vieira.
You're going with Caitlin Vieira?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going with Kayla Harrison on this one. Wow, we are very different on this card. This is like one of our most this is one of our like most divisive ones. We haven't agreed on almost anything at this point. It's been like 2. All right, Jose Aldo versus Mario Batista. Yeah, I know. 3, 2, 1. Flip. Jose Aldo. Okay. At least we agreed on that one. Jose Aldo is going to beat the shit out of Mario Batista. I like Mario Batista, but come on, it's Jose Aldo. Next up, something that I got really passionate about earlier today. Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena. Raquel Pennington is actually low-key underrated. She's only lost in the UFC to former champions, one being Jessica Andrade, which was a split decision. She then went on to beat Jessica Andrade later. One was against Holly Holm. She lost to Holly Holm by split decision, so that was a close fight. She then went on to have a unanimous decision loss to Holly Holm, but it was still a close fight if you look at the numbers. She lost really badly to Amanda Nunes, and then she lost somewhat badly to Germaine de Randamie. All of those girls, all former champions. So Raquel Pennington is pretty good. I mean, she's beaten everyone else in the division. She has the second most amount of wins in the division behind Amanda Nunes. Juliana Pena, on the other hand, she's only have 5 losses, only 3 in the UFC. Amanda Nunes, Valentina Shevchenko, Germaine de Randamie. But she hasn't had that many good wins. Like, Raquel Pennington has basically beaten everyone else in the division that she hasn't lost to. And Juliana Pena's fought like 8 people total in the UFC. She has barely any experience in the UFC compared to Raquel. She's only 12-5. Juliana Pena.
Mm-hmm.
She might seem like she's been around for a really long time. And, I mean, these girls got here at the same time on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
They were in the same series that Juliana went on to win. But Raquel Pennington is kind of... I mean, she hasn't beaten Amanda Nunes like Juliana Pena, but Raquel Pennington arguably has had the better career than Juliana Pena. But who are you going for? Raquel Pennington or Juliana Pena? I'm putting my answer down. 3, 2, 1. I'm going with Raquel Pennington. Juliana Pena. All right, you got Pena. I got Pennington. Yeah, I don't know why. I got real deep into looking at their records earlier today, and I was like, wow, Raquel Pennington is low-key underrated. 16-9 doesn't look great, but if you just look at her UFC record, she's only lost to champions, and she's avenged some of those losses. So, now it's time for the main event of the evening. I got Alex Pereira. I assume you do too. I don't even think there was need for suspense or anything. Are you really going to put Khalil Roundtree? There's no need to. You don't have to. I mean, we already have enough splits on this card. There's really no need to go against the grain. I got Alex Pereira, dude. Alex Pereira is probably going to win. I like Khalil Roundtree to win. Like I'm all on the Khalil Roundtree hype train. I want Khalil to win. I hate Alex Pereira. Not a fan. You know this. But come on, Alex Pereira's probably going to win.
Khalil Roundtree knockout is going to surprise the world.
Is that your official prediction?
That is my official prediction.
Okay, you got Khalil Roundtree in the main event then. This might be the most differing card that we've ever had in this podcast history. Episode 27 will go down in history as the most divisive one yet. Because how many do we have the same? I think only like 3? Jose Aldo. We both had the same on. We both had the same for Cesar Almeida.
Yeah.
And then Carla Esparza.
Yeah.
So we only have 3 the same and the rest different. One of us is going to be wrong. One of us is going to be wrong about a lot of these.
I'm coming off a win. I'm feeling very, very confident.
Yeah, well...
Very, very confident.
Yeah, we have our predictions in now. Is there anything you want to actually, like, touch on? Go for it.
Yeah. Let's talk about this fight. Let's talk about what's at hand. When we take a look at Alex Pereira and what he's done in the UFC so far with the fights that he's had, he's going on a greatest of all time title run. I don't want to just give it to him, but he's doing a lot in combat sports. He's getting these wins, he's getting these belts, and when I look at the fight and I look back, both him and Khalil Roundtree both have deep stories of the reasons of that why got them to the UFC. You know, like Alex Pereira had drinking issues and, you know, hard life. And then I was reading earlier, Khalil Roundtree, I hope this is true, you know, well, not like that, but I was reading it on Instagram where, like, you know, he was overweight, you know, he had a hard life. He was up to like 300 pounds, and UFC kind of changed his life. And so I feel that with this title shot, he might be coming in with like a little, he might do something that might transform him into the star. Because if he knocks out Alex Pereira, hypothetically, all of that energy that Alex Pereira carries is now put onto him. He is the guy. And I think there's something to watch here for that fight. How do you feel about it?
So I don't think that Khalil is deserving of a title fight.
Okay.
Like, that's not my position, that he's deserving of the title fight. Do I want him to win? Yes, I do. I do want him to win. I want him to win really, really, really badly. Like, it would be I want nothing more in this world than Khalil Roundtree to knock out Alex Pereira. But it's just not, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, like, this is Alex Pereira we're talking about. And I don't know how we ended up switching sides on this topic, but this is Alex Pereira we're talking about. He is the best kickboxer in the world, arguably. Or in the UFC, in MMA, he's the best kickboxer in MMA, arguably. Israel Adesanya may be the only other person that you could even argue. But then we talk about Khalil Roundtree, who has gotten much better ever since he went to Thailand, started learning Muay Thai. He is a top-tier talent in the UFC now. I mean, there's no denying that.
Yeah.
Is there a chance? There's always a puncher's chance for him to win. Because every fighter has a punching chance to win. But that doesn't mean that it's gonna happen. Like, I could pray and hope and everything that he's gonna knock him out, but I just don't see it happening. Alex Pereira has one of the nastiest left hooks in the game. We've seen that he now knows how to use his legs.
Yeah.
And Khalil has never taken anyone down ever in the UFC.
But that's where certain questions pop up. It goes, Alex Pereira throws a lot of left hooks. What's the defeat of a left hook? What does he do? He threw it straight. What does Khalil Roundtree do? He throws a lot of straights. I've been watching that, and so when you talk about going to the ground, we've been seeing a lot of Alex Pereira and this whole belt issue. Is he a brown belt? Is he a black belt? With the whole grappling, we might see him mix it up in the fight. That's what makes the fight interesting.
The thing about Khalil Roundtree is that I've noticed a lot that he reaches. When he goes for he has an iconic 1-2. He has a really good 1-2. Like a good jab straight. Very good. The only problem is when he goes for that backhand, when he goes for that straight, he reaches out and his hand isn't here anymore. His hand's not on his chin. And that's right where Alex Pereira can catch him.
Hey.
His hand is now like, he goes for the 1-2 and now his hand's like down here, like next to his stomach. And he's just reaching out as far as he can to try and punch you. That's going to leave you open for a counter.
Well, you got to think about it. Alex Pereira kind of does the same thing. You've seen him in multiple fights. He lets loose. He puts his hands down. Like there, obviously the Jamal Hill fight, but even with Izzy, he leaves himself when he sees an opening. He leaves himself open.
But Khalil Roundtree isn't really a counter puncher. He is more of a sit, wait, and then pick your time and then go for it. He doesn't really wait for a counter strike. He waits for his strikes. Alex Pereira is one of the best counter strikers in the business. Is it more likely that Alex is going to counter Khalil, or is it more likely that Khalil is going to counter Alex? Because I think the knockout in this fight is going to come from a counter shot. It's not going to come just out of the blue, just randomly some guy, just one of them throws something real hard and knocks him out.
Yeah, I think I don't be that.
I don't think it's going to be like Alex Pereira throwing the head kick at Yuri and knocking him out. It's going to be more of a counter strike. It's going to be someone throws and then gets caught on the way in. That's what I see happening. And I think it's more likely that Alex Pereira is the one that does the knocking out and not the getting knocked out. But, I mean, if Khalil wins, throw Alex Pereira in there with Ankalaev. I need to see it. I want to see Alex Pereira fight a wrestler. Like, I don't care if he loses the title. I don't care if he... Just fight a wrestler. Just fight a wrestler. Because then, if the wrestler beats Alex Pereira, then I can finally claim that he was an illegitimate champion the entire time. And he never deserved the belt. If he loses to any wrestler between now and the time he retires... If Alex Pereira loses to one wrestler between now and the time he retires, that is not a wrestler. If he loses to any wrestler from now until then, dude, you're making yourself look silly by saying those names. If he loses to any wrestler,
he beats DDP.
Any wrestler. If he loses to anyone, he can lose to a fucking 5-8 wrestler on the fucking nobody scene in the IFL or something. I don't even know. Just any nobody. If he loses to any wrestler, he is an illegitimate champion, and he always was. He never deserves this title if he can't beat a wrestler. And if he never fights a wrestler, then he's an illegitimate champ. He needs to fight a wrestler before he retires. That's what I'm saying. And Jan Blachowicz doesn't count. Sean Strickland doesn't count. Whatever that one guy that they threw in there with him for like his knee knockout, like when he did that flying knee knockout.
Yeah.
That guy wasn't fucking a high tier wrestler. I need to see him in there with a DC level wrestler. Give me a DC level wrestler. And he can wipe the floor with him and prove that he never deserved the title. Do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree.
Well, do you think that Alex Pereira could knock out a wrestler? Or do you think the wrestler would just dog him? If DC was in there with Alex Pereira, what do you realistically think would happen?
Probably would have knocked him out.
Alex would have knocked DC out?
Yeah. It's not crazy to say.
It is crazy to say. Anthony Joshua wasn't able to knock out DC with a big right hand, and DC went flying across the cage and still managed to take him down and submit him within the same round. Like,
why couldn't he do that to John Jones?
Because John Jones has the wrestling defense. Alex Pereira doesn't. He would get taken down and submitted in less than a round. If Alex
Pereira won this fight, I think after John fights Stipe, he fights Alex Pereira.
What about Tom Aspinall?
It's just like, it's not his place.
What?
It's not his place.
It's not the interim champion's place to fight the champ?
If John Jones knocks out Stipe, then he gets the right to be like, okay. Alex Pereira knocks out. He was like, okay.
This is ridiculous.
Or Alex Pereira could fight Tom Aspinall for the interim.
It would be the undisputed by then because John Jones would retire.
No,
he'd be done.
No, he would wait.
No, he wouldn't.
He would wait.
He would not. He is done. He should be stripped of his title the moment that he fights Stipe.
You can't strip the GOAT.
Yes, you can.
No.
Yes, you can.
If that was the case, they would have stripped Khabib.
You cannot just keep an interim champ and a champ in the same division and let them keep on defending their belts. It makes no sense. You can't let it happen. It can't keep happening.
It's happened.
But they need to fight each other. You cannot keep letting the interim champ defend his title and the champ defend his title.
He defended it once. He could defend it twice.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that way. They should fight each other. They have to fight each other.
Say John Jones gets hurt. He needs recovery time.
So John Jones, just because he's the GOAT, that means he doesn't have to fight the best guys anymore? He doesn't have to fight the best guys anymore. How? How does that make any sense?
You have to respect.
If you're the GOAT, you should be fighting the best guys to prove that you are still the GOAT.
No, John Jones should have the right. He should
to pick and choose. He should have the right to cherry pick his fights.
Bro,
then why wouldn't he just fight Johnny Walker? If he could pick whoever he wants, why can't he just pick Johnny Walker?
He would. It was the option.
Dude, no. John Jones does not deserve to just pick whoever he wants. He should have to fight the interim champion in his division.
If it's anyone else, it's Tom Aspinall. But if it's not Tom Aspinall or Stipe, which is going to happen, it's going to be Alex Pereira.
So Alex Pereira should not fight anyone else in his division, even though he hasn't proved himself at all in his division?
Yeah, they could do it interim for the light heavyweight.
You know exactly what Alex Pereira has proved in the light heavyweight division? That he's the best striker in the division. Something that we already fucking knew. He didn't need to prove himself. We already knew he was the best striker in the division.
True.
And that's all he's proved.
True.
He has not proved that he is the best mixed martial artist in the division. He has not proved that he can defend a takedown from a real wrestler.
He took down Izzy.
If he can get taken down by Jan Blachowicz, who isn't a wrestler, imagine what would happen with an actual wrestler. You're imagining it right now, and it's not a good scene, is it? It's Alex Pereira getting wiped on.
Ankalaev turned down the fight.
Because he wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi, and I think that it's a bad thing for him to do, to turn down a title fight. But if he wants to fight in front of his home crowd, then let him. If they both win their fights, they should get lined up next, no matter what. Alex Pereira should not be moving up to heavyweight. He'd get mauled by anyone at heavyweight. There's no proving yourself at heavyweight. Heavyweight, you're just going to get whooped on.
See, but if if John Jones could do it, why can't Alex Pereira?
Because John Jones took 3 years to do that. He didn't just hop in the cage the next day and said, I'm a heavyweight now. He took 3 years out of competition to do that.
Alex Pereira's like a lean walking 240. He could get up to like 250, 260. Like, really?
How much did you think John Jones weighed beforehand? He was around that weight, too. He was around 220 going into the cage most nights. He was around that exact size.
And he's not as muscular as Alex Pereira,
He took
though.
2 to 3 years off of MMA just to go up to heavyweight. Alex Pereira would need to do the same thing, and by then he'd be 40-1. Glover Teixeira won it.
Teixeira was going to teach him the way.
He won at 42, but like you're getting to that point, and that was at light heavyweight. We're talking about heavyweight now. We're talking about big,
Alex is a lot
strong
bigger.
boys. Yeah, but he'd get whooped on by John Jones or Tom Aspinall.
Okay, but if you look at the photos,
or Curtis Blades,
Alex Pereira is like just the same size as these dudes.
That doesn't apply.
He's just about the same size.
That
as John
doesn't
Jones.
apply to weight and
even
strength.
Bigger.
You know who the same size as DC? Sean Strickland. She's the same size as they both weighed the same at one point. So
Sean Strickland's taller. Sean Strickland's 6'2".
Yeah, but they both weighed the same at one point. They both weighed in at 205 pounds at one point. So
and DC's bigger because he's shorter.
Exactly my point. John Jones and Tom Aspinall are bigger, even though they might be around the same size. They are obviously bigger.
Nah, Alex Pereira has more lean muscle than John Jones. He's way more lean at 240 than John Jones is.
And that doesn't always mean that you're going to be a better fighter at the higher divisions. At the higher divisions...
That's why he needs to fight John Jones.
That's a reason why they pack on so much weight at the higher divisions. You need that weight. There are few guys that have ever been able to weigh less than like 265. It's been like Fedor and Stipe. Those are like the two guys that have been able to weigh in far under the weight limit and still succeed. Alex Pereira has one thing that those two guys don't have. Or, no, he has.
Striking.
He doesn't have one thing that those two guys had.
What?
Takedown defense. Stipe and Fedor both had great takedown defense. So they never needed to worry about getting taken down.
The fight always starts standing.
If you don't have great takedown defense and you're fighting guys heavier than you, they're just going to grab you and just going to throw you to the ground. It's as simple as that.
Let's use
Case
Colby
closed.
Covington as an example.
What about him?
Colby Covington fights around at his natural weight.
Okay.
Alex Pereira, he's moving up to fight around at his natural weight.
No, he's fighting 40 pounds under his natural weight.
Right
if
now.
he moves up to heavyweight.
No.
If he moves up to heavyweight, he'd be fighting 40 pounds under his natural weight.
Under?
Or over. He'd be fighting at 265 pounds.
He'd be fighting at 240.
He'd be 230 at most.
240, 250. What you mean? He's 6'6".
If he packs on that much weight in only a couple of months, that's not going to help him. That won't help him. That'll actually make him more tired, more fatigued. That'll make his blood flow a lot. That'll make his heart pump faster. That'll make all the bad things about putting on the weight happen. That's why John Jones took so long, is because he needed to put on the healthy kind of weight. If you just pack on 30 pounds in fucking 4 months, 5 months, you're going to be unhealthy.
Oh, John Jones is.
Because you can't just move up in weight like that. That's not how it works.
You can.
In a matter of months, you cannot just go from 205 pounds to 265.
Look at Jared Cannonier. He went from heavyweight then to light heavyweight down
and
to
that
middleweight.
took months of preparation. That took years of preparation to move weight classes down. And this is going up, which means you have to pack on good weight, not bad weight. You can't just put on 20 pounds of fat. You can't just put on, and it's not easy to just put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Does it?
You can't just put on 20 pounds of fat, and you can't just put on 20 pounds of muscle within a few months. It's not possible.
It is.
No, it's not. Name one fighter that has done it. You can't. There hasn't been one.
TJ Dillashaw.
When? He moved down a weight. That's different. Moving down a weight, you can cut out body fat from you all you want. But adding good weight to yourself takes time. You can't just add that much weight in a couple of months and have it be healthy weight. There hasn't been a fighter that has just moved up weight classes that much. That much of a gap in a weight and just been spectacular.
Alex Pereira is a special athlete.
Who hasn't shown that he has any takedown defense. Is that not getting through to you? He has not proved once. He was taken down by Israel Adesanya and Jan Blachowicz. He has no takedown defense.
Took down Izzy, and then he was able to reverse out of Jan Blachowicz's stuff.
He got taken down by Izzy more than he took down Izzy. He took down Izzy once. Izzy took him down twice. If you can get taken down by Izzy and Jan Blachowicz and get held down by Jan Blachowicz, because he didn't reverse it, he got held down by Jan Blachowicz the entire second round.
He was working on his jiu-jitsu.
If you can get held down and taken down by Jan Blachowicz, any actual wrestler would be able to do the same thing. So he has no takedown defense. He's adding 30 pounds of unhealthy weight and then fighting guys that are still another 20 pounds heavier than him. It is not a good recipe. Dana White even said so. And Dana White's not the virtue of all voices, as we've seen, as he thinks John Jones is number 1 pound for pound. I respect you, Dana, but you're wrong about a lot, and the entire community agrees. And if this costs me a job one day, I'm sorry. I'd love to work for you, but you're wrong about the John Jones thing. He's not pound for pound right now. He is a GOAT. He is the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. He's not the best in the world right now. That's not how that works. And I can say the same thing to you.
Whoa. John Jones is number 1 pound for pound.
No, we've talked about
on
this.
Any list.
That's not how it works. We've talked about this a million times.
How is he number 1 pound for pound on our list?
Because you put him there. I didn't. He was number 3 on my list. I have Alex Pereira above John Jones in pound for pound. But that's how pound for pound works.
So you're saying Alex Pereira should fight John Jones?
I said, but that's how it works. If they were the same weight, then Alex Pereira would have the advantage. But they're not the same weight, which is the entire point I just tried to make.
So if Alex Pereira moved up to light heavyweight, he would beat John Jones.
You mean if he moved up to heavyweight?
Yes.
If they fought at light heavyweight, at the same weight, and John Jones was still at light heavyweight, Alex Pereira probably could knock him out. But we're talking about heavyweight. We're talking about Alex Pereira having to fight 20 pounds above his weight. That is not going to happen. He is not going to be able to knock John Jones out in one punch. Name one person Alex Pereira has knocked out in one punch.
Jamal Hill.
That took him 4 minutes.
Nah.
How many minutes into the fight until that knockout?
Like 2.
It was 4.
Yeah,
it was almost the end of the round. But that's not the point. It took 4 minutes to land that punch. Guess what John Jones is going to do within the first minute?
But that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. If this is how pound for pound works, and this is how you explained it to me. Because this is what you said for Islam. If you're number 1 pound for pound, it means that at whatever weight you would be the better fighter at that weight. So if you say Alex Pereira is over John Jones, you're basically saying that if Alex Pereira was to move up to heavyweight,
that's not at all what it means.
That he would beat John Jones.
If Alex Pereira weighed 265 pounds,
but he
then
can
maybe.
do that. But
it would take years. That's not just the change you can do in 6 months. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
But he can get up to the minimum.
No, you cannot just put on that much weight in 6 months and it be healthy. It's not possible.
A couple beers, he'll get there.
That's not healthy weight. That's going to make him worse. If you just pack on that much weight, if you just sat around eating pizzas and drank beer all day, do you think you'd really feel good inside of a cage?
I mean, if you did a couple push-ups, he'll be all right.
Oh, my God. Okay, you clearly understand that that's not how putting on weight works, right?
Yeah, but
know that, right? He can't just put on that much weight in 6 months.
There's just
it would take years
out there, man.
No, there's not. How long did it take for Canelo to move up weights every time? A year at a time?
Couple months, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, and that's fucking 6 pounds. And it took months. Yeah, but Alex Pereira isn't going to use steroids. He's not that type of guy.
I'm saying Canelo.
Yeah, but I'm trying to say Canelo moved up like 6-7 pounds. It took him a year to move up 6 pounds.
It's somewhat easier to move up in weight classes in boxing. 'Cause sometimes you age with the weight class, and sometimes you're already boxing guys at other weights. So you're like, I'm already comfortable.
Yeah, but
at
Canelo
this weight.
clearly puts on weight every time he moves up. Like, he clearly looks bigger in the weight classes when he moves up.
Oh, well, speaking of Canelo, if he doesn't fight Benavidez, he gets stripped of all of his titles.
Which is what should happen to John Jones.
No.
It's exactly what should happen to John Jones.
No.
So is Canelo not a GOAT of boxing?
He's one of them.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
So if he was the GOAT, then you just throw your hands up and say, no, don't strip him.
Okay, it's not like, okay. Canelo's supposed to fight this guy for like 4 fights ago. The dude already won every belt in the division to chase after him. This has been a year-long catch-long. Tom Aspinall just really came up into the conversation
A year ago.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Which is the exact same amount of time that you just said Benavidez has been chasing Canelo.
No, I'm saying years.
How many years?
About 4 or 5.
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Of Benavidez trying to fight Canelo.
Yes.
And it hasn't happened.
Hasn't happened.
Why has it not happened?
Because Canelo's saying he doesn't want to fight other Mexican fighters.
So why would he now get stripped, but not any of the fights before?
Because there were other fights, there were other mandatories you can make, but it's so clear because now Benavidez has even jumped up. He's jumped up multiple divisions behind him. So
there've been other people that are Canelo's number one guy. There have been other guys other than Benavidez that have also had claim to say that they were his mandatory.
Yeah, because there's mandatories in each division.
Okay. Well, John Jones has one mandatory. His one guy that he's
he
mandatory
has a
to fight
lined up.
Which is not his mandatory. He didn't have to fight Stipe.
But he called him out after the fight, so he has to deliver his promise.
He only wants Stipe because he knows that he would lose to Tom Aspinall.
I don't think so.
Get that through your head.
Why would John Jones be scared of Tom Aspinall?
Because he's not fighting him. That's all the evidence you need to prove that he's scared of Tom Aspinall is the fact that he's not fighting him.
And if he loses?
If he loses to who?
Tom Aspinall.
If Tom Aspinall loses to John?
No,
if John loses to Tom?
Yeah.
Then almost nothing happens. He'd still probably be widely considered the GOAT of MMA.
No, it taints his record.
Did GSP losing to Matt Serra and Matt Hughes taint his record?
Yeah.
He's still the number 2 pound for pound of all time.
It taints his record. Just a little bit.
So you're saying that John Jones is scared of fighting Tom Aspinall because it might taint his record?
I'm not saying he's scared. I'm just saying he shouldn't fight him.
Because if he loses, it would taint his record.
No.
I think that we're done. We've been going for an hour, and I'm not getting anywhere with this John Jones conversation. At this point, I just need to have Dana White sit in the middle and fucking...
John Jones is number 1 pound for pound. He is the GOAT.
He is not.
He can defeat
but
any
he is.
fighter.
He is the GOAT. He is not number 1 pound for pound because those are 2 different categories.
John Jones could step into a boxing ring with Tyson Fury.
Are pound for pound and GOAT the same category?
Pretty much almost the same.
So GSP is the number 2 pound for pound fighter right now?
I believe he could come back and fight Khabib.
Okay, so he just proved he doesn't know what pound for pound means. That's fine. I mean,
I believe
if you don't understand what pound for pound means, then that's fine. You don't
understand
have to.
what pound for pound means.
No, I
when
do.
It comes to Alex
that's
Pereira,
the problem.
You're being a little bit biased.
That's the problem. I do know what pound for pound means. It means that you are pound for pound best fighter in the world right now. And John Jones isn't the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now. He has been historically over the last 15 years. He's just not right now. There is a difference. If I was the best golfer in the world for 15 years, but then someone beat me in the National Open this year,
right,
I would no longer be the best golf player in the world right now. I'd still be the GOAT. I just wouldn't be the best right now. And that's
John
my
Jones
point.
Still has the belt.
Yeah, but he's not the best in the world right now.
And he's the GOAT.
Islam is pound for pound number 1. He has beaten he has beaten more people on the pound for pound list. He has more well-rounded skills.
So you don't think John Jones could beat 90% of the pound for pound list?
If they were the same weight as him? No. I don't think that he'd have the capabilities to beat a couple of those guys on that list. But I do believe that if Islam was the same weight as any of them, he'd beat any of them.
Islam wouldn't beat Ilia Topuria.
Yes, he would. I think he would easily beat Ilia Topuria. I think he would probably grapple fuck him.
You're a casual, dog.
No,
You're
I'm not.
casual.
Is Islam
How could
okay?
you say that?
Who's the most well-rounded fighter right now?
John Jones. It's got to be.
You're saying that John
Actually,
Jones.
wait, no.
you're
DDP.
Okay, we're
DDP.
done. We're done here. DDP most
It's
well-rounded.
DDP.
No.
Look at his striking. Look at his wrestling.
Look at Islam's. Islam has just as many
No.
KOs. He has just as many submissions. And he has the Dagestani background. And he is an elite kickboxer at this point. He beat up Dustin Poirier on the feet. He beat up
DDP
Alex
sells more
Alex.
pay-per-views.
What does that have to do with anything? That has nothing to do with it.
It means more to Dana.
That has nothing to do with the pound-for-pound rankings. And Dana White doesn't have control over that. It is the media. It is not Dana White's control. That is why Islam is pound for pound right now, number one. It's because Dana doesn't have control over it. But what I am saying is that
it should be John Jones.
Islam Makhachev. So is Islam Makhachev's striking worse than John Jones?
Yes.
Thank you guys for watching the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. This has been Elijah. I've been your host, Justin. I don't even know where to go from here. Please like, share, and subscribe. I don't think I'm ever going to get through to him. Please leave it in the comments if he's wrong. Please, please, please. I need someone to back me up here. He's wrong. He has to be. But thank you guys for watching. Peace out.